over the weekend. Simon, good to have you with us once again. We've got some exciting Sevens rugby this weekend, and there's also the T20 that we've been unfortunately losing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, our team's all travelling. They've gone a long way. Vancouver's where the Sevens guys are at, hoping to get a tournament win. They've had to travel for quite some time, but they seem to be adjusting to life in Vancouver. They've been going to ice hockey games and getting in the Canadian spirit. They're playing a lot of two South American teams, Brazil, Argentina, in their group stages. And it's basically just about getting through that intact and then seeing what the next day awaits them. T20, on the other hand, South Africa left quietly from Cape Town to go to the tournament in India. They're getting ready for a warm-up match tomorrow against India, and they've still got a lot to work on. We've figured out that we can chase, but we can't really set and defend. So that's the goal now, is to try and work out some sort of remedy where we get going as soon as possible in a match, and that means AB de Villiers is going to probably have to shoulder everything.
As usual. Yeah.
So India tomorrow is the main match for them to tweak things, because then they play a local team during the week. But England is the first match they play of the tournament. I was just going to ask
about the first match. What are we looking to in that first match?
Well, we got to play England, and they're also quite decent. They may be on our level, and then we got the West Indies and Sri Lanka, and those are two teams that could go either way. But they tend to also enjoy the T20 format, whereas I think maybe South Africans being too structured and too well coached, perhaps they don't like to cut loose when given the opportunity. It's all very foreign to them, so you'll see slow overrun rates, and you need to accelerate in that respect, and that's what we'll probably have to do against the likes of England before you face.
And we're in a tough group, aren't we?
Well, yeah, those are the teams we're playing against. So it's those are the guys who do well in the T20s. That's the thing. We'll have to see. Just take it as it comes, and I think that's what the team's trying to do. And obviously, as well, hanging over their heads is that choker tag. But I think this is one of the first tournaments in a while that they're going into where no one's actually mentioned anything about it. It's something we bring up, but it's not hanging on us because no one's really expecting that much from us. So that could work in our advantage.
Oh, harsh words from Simon Burke. Anyway, PSL news.
Yeah, PSL. Well, it's going to be a quiet weekend, but there are games happening. Tonight, especially Maritzburg United, they're playing Golden Arrows, and they're in the relegation struggle. They're 4 points off the bottom of the table. And they'll be watching Tuks tomorrow, who are playing Black Aces, and also Cosmos, who are up against Pirates. So it's not looking great for the relegation teams. They're playing handy sides, and sides in the top 8, and sides that want to go further and have more to play for than just league survival. But there's also Champions League on the go. Sundowns and Chiefs will also be in action this weekend, and it's vitally important that Chiefs use this home advantage that they're going to have against Mimosa and try and set a base for themselves, because the wheels have come off for them. A derby loss and losing to Platinum Stars, and now they've got to get into the real deal of the Champions League. Under a lot of pressure, but it is football, and they've got a home match to try and put things right.
All right, and then we have to talk about Maria Sharapova.
Yeah.
What a shock. But there are so many questions that you ask about that. I mean, she says she didn't know, but she has a whole team working for her. You just wonder what went wrong.
It's very well-oiled and slick how she announced everything. You could see there was a lot of media prep and PR work gone into this, and it's almost like they try to normalize it. I took drugs, but and then what, blah blah blah. The thing is, not a lot of the other professionals are buying it. There's no sense of thankfully it's not me kind of thing. They're all condemning it, really, and that's essentially what you have to do, because the PR machine kicked off the debate, and everyone was like, but should we feel sympathetic for her? Should we do that? But the pros have come out and said not so much, and
the sponsors dropping her is also
and the sponsors as well. And I think guys like Nike know, you know, they've had this before in the past. They know how to deal with an athlete that suddenly becomes tainted by a scandal, and that's to drop cut ties immediately. And you're going to have to do that. She's a top earner. She's the best earner in the women's game, even though she's not the best player. And that's brought up a whole other bunch of debates about the marketing of certain players over others. But she never had any question marks against her, and then suddenly out of the blue, you know, because everyone was expecting her retirement, and then she comes out and says, but I've been taking drugs for 10 years and I thought it was all right, but it's not all right. And so she's going to have to suffer the consequences of all of that. Obviously the doctor who discovered this drug, meldonium, is from Latvia, and that's, you know, some of the more cynical press have said this is one of Latvia's only contributions to medical science. He's trying to say that you know, all athletes should be taking this. There's nothing wrong with it, but that's just, you know, by the way. It's a banned, prohibited substance. She's been taking it. She's going to have to deal with the consequences.
It's bad news for the sport in general. I mean,
well, yeah, another scandal, and we're just going to have to make sure that. Well, the authorities are going to have to make sure that they deal with it properly. And unfortunately, it's also another Russian who's been caught doping.
Yeah. Simon Burke, thank you very much. Always good to have you with us. Our sports reporter, Simon Burke, with a wrap of all your sports news. And that is a wrap from us. We'll be back on Monday.